up? What up? What up? Happy NFL Sunday morning, week 5. We got the London game kicking off, which is interesting to say the least. We got Dylan Gabriel making his first NFL start. Already has his first touchdown pass to Mr. Fannin, another rookie. Before we get going, Shane, that rookie class is looking good for Cleveland. I know they're not playing well overall, but they've hit some pretty good rookies in that draft so far this year.
Oh, yeah, they had a major class right there. We're waiting to still see about the quarterback situation to determine whether or not they need to address it early next year, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing because the class for the rookie quarterbacks upcoming next year doesn't look great right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
We got some time to
hopefully
figure
they
it
hit
out.
on one of these. Yeah.
All right, we'll hop right into it. We have Shane's first pick of the day. It is Minnesota, laying the 3.5. I'm trying to find the live line right now. It's probably close to or better than what it is now. Let's see here. You can get them live, yeah, right around 3.5 at a better price at -105. So, still like that. They're getting the ball back too. Cleveland's punting right now. So, Shane, explain the pick and why you like the Vikings today overseas.
I mean, they already were overseas last week, which I think gives them an advantage. They weren't in the same country, but still same time zone. It was like a 30-minute flight from Ireland to London. You have a rookie making his first ever start in London uh, against a Brian Flores defense. I think over the course of the game that this defense is going to give the Browns offense a lot of trouble. And then the Browns defense has been good, but I think the Vikings offense, even with the injuries that they have, can do enough to get a safe win against the Browns by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for Minnesota here. I know they've started off pretty slow. The Jordan Mason fumble didn't help, which is becoming a problem for him down the stretch here. Um, but I think overall, I think it's a good spot for them. I think you're getting Gabriel in a spot where they're not going to try to, push him too hard. You've seen a lot of screens early for him to get him going. Big use of Judkins, who looks pretty good on the ground, who's taken over that RB1 spot for them. Moving forward probably. Yeah, I agree with this pick. I think Vikings pull away. I don't think the Browns offense will ever get into some rhythm here. I think it's just I don't understand the spot here for Cleveland starting Gabriel in this game. I don't understand it. They talked about it before the game started. His family can't even be there today because they don't have passports. So they're not even watching him play his first game. It's just a weird time to throw him into the fire here. Overseas game and in a short week of practice. It doesn't make much sense. It's definitely a Browns decision because the Browns are the Browns. But I think it's a tough spot for Dylan Gabriel here in his first game against a pretty good defense here in Brian Flores. So Shane's first pick of the day is going to be the Vikings -3.5. Again, get it live. Get on it now. Cool. All right, we're gonna head it over to Carolina here. Miami coming off a primetime victory over the struggle bus of the New York Jets. Before I get to my pick, Shane, any thoughts on this game?
I mean, on paper, this should be pretty high scoring. I think both defenses not great. Uh, Dolphins offense, we'll see how it is now without Tyreek Hill for the year. Like never again, because he's going to get cut by them at the end of the year, and I don't know if he's going to play again.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's Bryce Young. We'll see what happens there. He does play a lot better at home than on the road, though, through his track record. So we'll see how that goes. This game would be ugly to watch in person, I think. I think both QBs could make mistakes.
All right. Well, my pick is gonna be the Panthers here. We took them last Monday morning. It did flip to Panthers -1.5 for a little while, then it flipped right back to Miami, like 6 points of difference in a matter of a day, which is kind of weird. But I make this game Panthers by about 2 here, so I'm getting a point and a half. Um, I think it's going to come down to the last team having the ball, I think, here, and the home team has some type of advantage over Miami. Both teams not really playing for much. I mean, Miami, yeah, they're playing for Mike McDaniel's job at this point. I think it's a rough spot for Miami. You're coming off a primetime divisional game, and another must-win spot. Do I think this team plays well enough to win 2 in a row after what we've seen from them on defense and whatnot? And then two is turnover problem. I think not. I think Carolina controls the ball here, controls time of possession, keeps Tua off the field, and I think they find a way to get it done here. So take the 1.5, take the money line. I don't see this line moving too much towards kickoff. Definitely a good teaser spot as well for Carolina. Get them up to 7.5, 8 as well. But yeah, we like Carolina here as my first official pick of the day. All right, moving on to my pick number 2. Definitely a concern here with the injury bug. Tennessee taking on Arizona. Tennessee has looked horrible. Would you be surprised if the coach gets fired after today?
No, I think he probably should have been fired in the offseason, but he's showing now more than ever that he cannot coach.
Yeah, he can't. I think he can coach, a certain side of the football, but I don't think he's a leader of men, and I don't think he had the best start to his coaching career in terms of like, did he have the right predecessor? Did he have the right knowledge of the game on both sides of the football field to be a head coach? And I think he just didn't have it to start with. So um, he hasn't sounded great in post game press conferences. I don't think him and Cam Ward are on the same page. And then getting not scoring a single point and a couple weeks ago really just showed that this team is just not playing well right now. But Cardinals do have an injury bug. I got this line at 8.5. It dropped to 7.5 with some more injury news. I wouldn't be surprised if it jumped back up to 8.5 before kickoff. But yeah, I'd make this line. Let's see, I have this Arizona by 11 here. So 11, 12-point win. Like at 8.5, like at 8. Like I said, the line moved because of the injury. I don't think because of the action on Tennessee. But yeah, how do you take Tennessee the points here? I don't see it. I know the Cardinals defense is banged up, but I just think it's a bad scheduling spot for Tennessee. You're flying across country. The mojo's down. They're not really a confident team right now. I think if Arizona controls the run game with Tony Pollard, I think this game will be pretty much decided by halftime here. So I think Arizona comes out of this one with a comfortable win. They need to win at home. Yeah, I like Arizona minus the points here. Lay the big number. All right, speaking of injury bug, Mr. Williamson, Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Seattle Seahawks here in Seattle. Baker Mayfield looking to bounce back off a home loss to the Eagles in a game which he just fought his ass off, I think, but ended up coming up short. That block punt at the beginning of the game proved to be significant. Seattle here coming back home, playing good football. Sam Darnold's playing well. O-line's keeping him up. He's making good decisions. But at some point, do we see a regression to the mean chain, Sam Darnold?
I think we definitely do. After all the injury news for the Bucks, I don't know if it's this week now or not in terms of them being like absolutely terrible, but I still like the Bucks on the side because I'm getting the better quarterback. I'm getting what I think is still the better coach. Seattle's dealing with some injuries too. Their top corner's out, so that could be good for Ibuka and Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
Tariq Woolen's like not even playing anymore. He's about to get traded, which is something. After he had a major rookie year, he's gone pretty much. Seattle's offensive line's still terrible. I think this front seven for Tampa can have its way with it. No Bucky is going to be kind of hurting, but they still got Rachaad White, who's familiar with the system there. They've been running the same system for years. He's been a trusted starting back before. The offensive line's getting healthier for Tampa over time. Tristan Wirfs back. Yeah, I think 3.5 is too much at this point for Tampa. We've seen them keep every game close. They were basically on the verge of beating Philly last week after starting terrible in the first half. It wasn't for that terrible pick in the end zone in the red zone. I don't know what Baker was doing on that play, but
trying to do too much.
Yeah, but I think this is a good bounce back spot for Tampa against Seattle, and Seattle hasn't been that great at home the past few years.
Yeah, I think Bucky's going to be interesting. See how they play without him. He's been a big part of this offense in terms of the passing game and the run game. I think James White is a good complementary piece, though. I think he plays similar to Bucky. I don't think he's the better athlete here. I think Bucky's just a superior athlete. Like I said, I think he's comparable to CMC now in terms of his play style from the backfield. But I think Rachaad White could add, maybe half of that to that game. And I think Baker's gonna look down the field more today in terms of getting it to Ibuka and Godwin. I do think that the front seven will decide this game. I think that Vita Vea and that run defense will decide if Buccaneers can walk out a win with a W here, or even better, a cover. But I think you've seen Seattle struggle when they can't run the ball, and when Kenny can't get those breakaway runs on the outside, and they contain him inside. I think that's when you have you put Darnold in the second and long, third and long spots, and I think that's where he kind of struggles with his O line. So Seattle is winning these games, running the football, making it 2nd and 4, 3rd and 4, and not putting too much pressure on Sam Darnold. Playing the play action game, which he's always been good at, dating back to his time with the Jets, he's been a good play action quarterback. But I think if the Bucs want to walk out of here with a W and a bounce back spot, they need to control the line and control that run game by Seattle. So I like the Bucs here. What do I think this line? I make Seattle by 2 here, so it's a close game. But yeah, I like that pick. All right, Sham, I'll let you get into the Lions pick real quick.
We can keep this pretty simple here. We've seen Jake Browning the past 2 weeks look absolutely atrocious. Can't move the ball at all. Threw 3 picks in the first half of his first game back. I don't know what Cincinnati's going to do to try to be competitive in this AFC North division that's now open because the Ravens have started off so slow and the injury bug that they're dealing with. Maybe Bruss gets traded there. Kirk gets traded there. They need to do something because Jake Browning is just not getting it done. He did it 2 years ago, but 2 years is a long time in the NFL. Lions dealing with a couple injuries on the defensive side, but they still look strong. Aiden Hutchinson in this pass rush is going to be absolutely disgusting against his Bengals offensive line. Jared Goff and company, this offense is buzzing. Doesn't matter who they're really playing against right now, besides week 1, but I think that was just an anomaly. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is going to have a huge day on the ground. I could see him getting in multiple times. I don't see the Lions taking their foot off the gas in this game because they haven't in the past. There's just nothing good right now is happening for the Bengals. Like, their defense stinks and they can't move the ball on offense. I don't know what their plan is, but they need to have some kind of plan moving forward here. And with them the Lions laying 10, I think this is just going to be an absolute murder. I could see them winning by like 20 plus if you want to get real crazy with the spread.
Yeah, I make this line close to 10. I think that's just about right here. I don't like Goff on the road here. We've seen him struggle. I had something here for that. Yeah, in terms of Goff on the road, he struggles outside the dome, which we know about. Yeah, I think the line's right at 10 here. So, all right, we'll move on. We got Shane's next pick: the Patriots and the Bills.
The Bills, I mean, they're 4-0, but we have to also look at who they've been playing. They played the Jets. They played the Saints. They barely snuck out a win against this Ravens team who, I mean, defensively, they look maybe the worst defense in the league. They're definitely in the conversation. And who the fuck else did they? They played some other bad team. They haven't played anybody good. The Dolphins, that's who it was. And then the Patriots, I mean, their offense has been looking fine without any like true playmakers on it. Drake May's been balling out. And since Drake May's been there, since last year, the Bills haven't played that great against the Patriots, and I think 7.5 is a lot in this spot. Drake May's playing just as good, arguably, as Josh Allen in terms of production. Patriots defense getting better. Christian Gonzalez is back. The front seven's figuring it out a little bit. The Bills defense isn't anything to be scared of, as we've seen so far this year. They've allowed points to everybody. The Saints were keeping it competitive for most of the game last week. I just see over a touchdown being too much here. I think the Patriots can keep it within maybe 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they went outright because they seem to always take one from Buffalo every year. So I think getting the hook here is big for this spread.
Yeah, I think Drake May's been playing pretty well. I don't think he's getting the right attention for that. He's playing really well. He's not turning the ball over. He's putting them in spots to win ball games. I think we've seen a lot of growth with him in this year. Only worry I have in this game. This is just me looking at it from a fan perspective, and me being a Pats fan for the last 2 decades now. We've seen this Bills team become a juggernaut in the NFL. Obviously, with Josh Allen, they did the right thing in drafting a quarterback, develop him, and now he's become arguably the best player in the National Football League. We saw this team struggle last week with that quarterback, right? And we've seen, guys like Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. These guys bounce back pretty hard after a not so good performance, especially at home last week with the Saints. I was on them plus 16.5. That line closed close to the 14.5. So it was the right side, of course, but when I look at this game from a fan perspective, I am concerned. We played really well last week, from Patriots perspective. And we're coming into Buffalo, who is hungry to show the world why they are, quote unquote, the best team in football. So I make this line 8, so it's right around the number of where it's at right now. But in terms of fanhood, I am concerned for this game. I just think it's a bad spot for the Pats in terms of perspective. Like I said, Buffalo looked like crap last week. Patriots still look like the best team in the AFC East. And, I think, listen, Patriots are going to keep it close. I think they're going to control the line of scrimmage. I think they have the advantage up front right now in terms of O-line, D-line. I like their run game right now, too, with Trayvon. I think he's doing well. Stevenson's still a struggle bus with the fumble game. But if the Patriots can't stop Josh Allen on the ground and through the air, I mean, it's gonna be a long day, a long night, I should say, for the Pats. So we'll see. Listen, I hope they win. Like I said, diehard Pats fan. I hope they come out with Buffalo from a W. I think that's a stretch, but we could see a backdoor cover here for New England down the stretch here late on Sunday Night Football. So, all right, I'm gonna give out my third play here. Yeah, third play. Heading over to LA this afternoon. Should be a good one with Jaden Daniels back. Back in town after missing 2 games. I think this is a great spot for LA. I don't know if you have anything to say on this game, but I think it's a great spot. After traveling across country last week, playing against Jackson Dart in his first game and having that momentum for the Giants, I think showed that the Chargers definitely did not look at them as a real test or opponent. And that bit him in the ass a little bit. Ended up, we saw how that game ended. Not great. But I think John Harbaugh's got him. Jim has got him ready for this week against a good opponent with their quarterback back in action. I don't think Daniels is 100%. I think Commanders are kind of desperate here, needing a win in week 5, so they're pushing him out there. Is Terry playing, Shane?
No.
Terry's still out.
And I believe Debo is also out.
Wow, okay.
And their third string receiver's out.
So you're playing wide receiver today for them?
Pretty much.
But yeah, I make this line. I think closer to 5 here. Yeah, close to 5. I think it's a good spot for the Chargers in the bounce back area, back at home. off that, not so great week last week, and they get back on track. Shane, you got anything for this game?
It's just the Commanders are too riddled with injuries, and that's kind of like the theme for this week. There's a lot of really banged up teams, and some of them are in really bad spots. And I think having Jaden Daniels in his first game back with no receiving weapons, you have Zach Ertz and then Jalen Lane, who's a rookie that hasn't been seeing the field that much, up against a Jim Harbaugh defense that's been playing pretty well this year overall.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a great spot for the Commanders. I love the spot in terms of getting a bounce back win here. And they've been really good at home, so far with Jim Harbaugh and that Herbert combination. They're pretty healthy in the offensive side of the football, and I like how they're moving it at home too. So yeah, lay the 3 points with the Chargers. I think you can get -2.5 with some juice, like -120, -125. But I got -3 at -105 when I opened and saw the value there, so I took that. So all right, my final pick is the Monday Night Football game for this week. We got the Chiefs looking to get back on track. Like I said, great win last week. We had them plus the points at home against Baltimore. Ended up being kind of a weird game. Not something that I expected anyways in terms of score. Yes, I expected Kansas City to get the W, but nothing like that. And then, of course, Lamar gets hurt here last week, and now is out this week. Shane, any chance Jaguars can pull this home upset off?
The only way they'd be able to is if they do what they've been doing all year, and that's forcing a lot of turnovers, and Mahomes isn't really one to be turning the ball over a lot, so that alone isn't really making me do it. Also, I've been seeing people online try to be like, oh, this Jaguars offense doesn't look too bad. No, it looks terrible. They get some like big breakaway runs, of course, but Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good.
No.
Brian Thomas can't really catch the ball. Travis Hunter's not playing offense anymore.
They're getting a lot of luck right now, I think, and I think it'll start to show as it goes on. Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think Trevor Lawrence and the coaching staff are getting in sync too well. I don't think the play calling's been great. I think Cohen's been kind of getting lucky with the defensive turnovers and putting them in good spots to get some points on the board. But you're playing against a Chiefs team who's going to be coached up, who's going to be ready for this environment and prime time, who's been there, done that, who don't turn the ball over, and the second week back with Xavier Worthy. Love the Chiefs here. I got them at -3, -105. It's up to 3.5 on most books. I think you can still get 3 with some juice. Yeah, I think this should be a pretty comfy win here on Monday Night Football for the Chiefs. I have this game closer to 4, 5-point win. So I'll take the 3 here at -105. Some great value I got there. But yeah, I think Chiefs kind of put belt to ass starting last week and into this week. They're now ranked number 1 in terms of FPI, above the Lions by a half a point, which is significant now, in terms of FPI. But yeah, I think Chiefs roll. I really do. I love the Chiefs. I like Pat Mahomes in the spot. Prime time. He's going to come out with his best. I think the only problem I could see would be, like I said, costly turnovers by Pacheco in the run game if he fumbles. That's still a question mark for the Chiefs in terms of run game. Do you think they make a trade for running back?
I could easily see Alvin Kamara being on the Chiefs in a couple of weeks.
That would be something. I like that. How about Breece Hall? Problem is, Brown Allen hurt now, but do you think they move Breece Hall at all?
Not anymore. They've been using him like crazy, so I don't see that happening. I think Alvin Kamara is like the ideal running back that's going to be on the block.
I like that. I actually like that a lot. All right, quick recap, and we'll get into some football watching here. Let me pull the screen up. All right. Little recap of our 8 picks for this week. Panthers at home, getting 1.5, -105. Love the value there. You can still get it at -110, -115. I think you can get +2 somewhere with some juice. I don't think the 2 is going to matter too much, unless we go into overtime. But Cardinals -8.5. It's down to 7.5, 8. I still like them. Obviously, it's the injury bug there for Arizona. I just cannot in any sense of the word, back this Tennessee Titans team on the road, traveling cross country. I got the Chargers laying the 3. You can still get that. You can even lay some juice at -2.5 with the Jaden Daniel news. He's back in, but Washington on the offensive side of the ball has some injury problems heading into today on the road, traveling across country. But the Chargers here in a bounce back spot heading into week 6. Chiefs minus the 3 on the road, Monday Night Football against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Jags have been a pretty lucky team so far. Yes, I was on them last week, plus the 4.5. That cashed pretty easily. They've been winning with, like we said, a lot of turnovers. I don't think that happens with the Chiefs too much Monday night, but we'll see about that one. You can still get them at -3 with some juice. I think the line now is up to 3.5. I don't see it going back down to 3, the key number of 3. I think it stays at 3.5, maybe up to 4. But it could be a good money line spot and a parlay or something for you guys. And then Shane's laying the 3.5 with the Vikings. You can get that better right now live. Looks like it's about to be halftime.
Not looking good right now.
Cleveland with the ball. Where are they at now, Shane?
Cleveland's turned 12 at the 40, but Carson Wentz is off to the locker room with an arm issue. So, yep.
Might as well be Cam Akers at this point. And then he's got the Lions laying the 10, belt to ass, I think, as well for this Lions team. Facing the Bengals, who we've seen have just been a total disaster on offense and on defense. He's getting 3 here with the Bucks. It lines up to 3.5 with Bucky Irving now out. I still like it. I do. I think White could be a good piece to get for fantasy. I think he'll be involved. I also think the wide receivers will get plenty of action today against the Seahawks secondary. And it's going to be, I think it's going to decide if they can control the run game for Seattle to walk out Seattle with a win. So, and then Sunday Night Football. He's got the Patriots plus the points. I think you can get a better line at 8.5 now for the Pats. Divisional game, prime time, getting points in a rivalry game. Don't mind it at all. I am a little concerned about the spot for the Bills and the Pats, but being a Pats fan, I'll always love to back them as well. So we got games today. We got Sunday Night Football for you. We got Monday Night Football pick for you tomorrow night. And looking to get back in the positive column for myself. And, we'll be back with you guys next week. Go Vikings. Hopefully Carson Wentz is not too banged up.
Max Brosmer about to have to come in.
Oh, that's good. And did they just give up the third down play there?
Yeah.
37 at Minnesota's 35. Trying to hold them to a field goal. Now they get up the 1st and 10. Now they're going to try to hold them only for a touchdown. So, all right, we'll get to that game. Oh, first and goal at Minnesota's 9. Oh, boy. All right, we'll see you guys next week on the Money Backers. Thanks, guys.